Brenda has always been the kind of woman who sends back water at a restaurant because the ice cubes aren't uniform. When I first started dating my wife Sarah 6 years ago, I thought her mom was just a little particular. It didn't take long to realize she was just chronically entitled. She is the textbook definition of a Karen before the internet even had a word for it. She snaps her fingers at service workers she demands to speak to managers over coupons that expired in 2018, and she genuinely believes the world was built to cater to her specific moods. Sarah is a saint, but she grew up with this, so her default response has always been to just keep the peace. For years, I bit my tongue at family dinners when Brenda would insult my cooking or make snide comments about my career. I used to work in corporate finance, but 3 years ago, I took a massive leap and opened my own artisanal bakery and coffee shop. It was my dream. I poured my entire life savings into it, worked 80-hour weeks to get it off the ground, and finally it became really successful. We have a great local following and a line out the door most weekends. The problem started about a year ago when Brenda realized my shop was a great place for her to show off. At first she would just come in, grab a drip coffee, and sit in the corner. But as the place got more popular, her behavior escalated. She started skipping the line entirely, walking right up to the pickup counter and demanding free lattes and expensive pastries. She would tell my staff that she practically owned the place because her son-in-law was the boss. I told Sarah we needed to set boundaries because my employees were getting stressed out. Sarah talked to her mom, and of course Brenda threw a massive tantrum claiming we were disrespecting our elders and that family should always get VIP treatment. She stayed away for a couple of weeks, but eventually she started coming back. I instituted a strict policy with my staff: do not give her anything for free and make her wait in line like everyone else. If she argues, come get me. That brings us to this past Saturday. It was our busiest morning of the week. We had a line wrapping around the block and my staff was working at max capacity, just trying to keep up. I was in the small back office doing payroll and inventory when I heard the yelling. It wasn't just loud talking, it was the shrill piercing shriek that Brenda only uses when she is absolutely denied her way. I walked out of the office and saw the entire cafe had gone dead silent. Everyone in line was staring. There was Brenda standing at the main register with 3 of her wealthy book club friends looking incredibly smug. Behind the counter was Mia, one of my best employees. She is 19 years old, working her way through nursing school, and she is the sweetest kid you could ever meet. Mia was shaking and looked like she was about to cry. I walked up and asked what was going on. Brenda rolled her eyes and crossed her arms. She told me that this incompetent little girl was refusing to serve them their drinks and wanted them to stand outside in the heat with the commoners. Brenda had ordered 4 of our most complicated specialty drinks and half a dozen imported pastries and expected it all on the house immediately. Mia looked at me with tears in her eyes and told me she just asked them to please join the back of the line so she could help the customers who had been waiting for 20 minutes. I nodded at Mia and turned to my mother-in-law. I kept my voice perfectly calm and told her that Mia was right. I told Brenda she needed to go to the back of the line, and when she got to the front, she would be paying full price just like everybody else. Brenda's face turned completely purple. Her friends started backing away, looking embarrassed, but Brenda just doubled down. She started screaming at me in front of 50 customers. She called me a failure, an ungrateful little brat, and said that without her daughter, I would be nothing. I told her she needed to leave my store immediately or I was going to call the cops. She laughed right in my face. She told me I didn't have the guts and that I was bluffing. Then to prove some kind of twisted point, she reached out and shoved our entire retail display of expensive ceramic coffee mugs right off the counter. Dozens of mugs shattered all over the floor. The sound was deafening. Ceramic went flying everywhere, and one piece actually grazed a customer leg. Mia jumped back, covering her face, and Brenda just stood there panting, looking at me like she had won. I didn't say a single word. I just pulled my phone out of my pocket, dialed 911, and reported a violent customer destroying property. Full story on the channel. Link below.